The daily battle. One battle, one lesson, win the day. There's a lie that's been drilled into dentists for decades. And most dentists don't even realize that they're believing it. If you're busy, you must be successful. Your schedule's full. You're booked out 3 weeks. Hygiene is packed. You're seeing patients all day long. Your production, all the reporting of them looks good. And everybody around you is running around and getting the job done. And at the end of the month, you look around you and you think, what have I made after all that effort? Why doesn't this feel successful and fulfilling? Because busy and successful aren't the same thing. In fact, one of the most dangerous things that can happen to a dentist is becoming incredibly efficient at operating the wrong business model. You can produce more and still make less. You can add patients and create more chaos. You can add employees and increase your overhead. And yet, you think about what each business does and how many operatories you have and the complexity that we keep adding to it, trying to provide more services, more procedures, everything. So you can work another day and you can generate more revenue while giving up more of the very thing you were supposedly building the business to create, which is you're creating freedom, profitability, lifestyle. Dentistry has conditioned us to celebrate activity. How many patients did you see? What was your production? How far you booked out? How many new patients did you get? Those numbers are kind of meaningless because at the end of the day, what's your life and what do you take home? What is your overhead? None of them by themselves tell me whether you're winning. They don't tell me you're profitable. Tell me your home income. Tell me your case acceptance. Tell me what you're producing per hour and how many days you work. Tell me what percentage of your revenue disappears before it ever reaches you because you take all the insurance plans. No one talks about realities. Tell me whether your life walking into your business is good or not. Tell me whether you control your schedule or your schedule controls you. Tell me whether you designed the practice you wanted or simply built the version of dentistry everyone told you that you were supposed to have, right? That's a completely different conversation. And I've said this for years. You don't need more chaos. You need more control. And their answer isn't automatically more patients, more employees, more rooms. Right? But that's what everyone thinks. Take more insurance, do more procedures, try and do everything for everybody, be a super dentist. Sometimes it actually isn't the answer. Maybe fewer patients, fewer cases, better systems, better communications, better training, better margins, better decisions. Now that's business. But here's where dentists get trapped. When the business isn't producing the results they want, their first instinct is usually, I need more production. Well, maybe, but what if production isn't the problem? What if you're producing plenty of dentistry and simply had a bad business model underneath it? If you're pouring water into a bucket with 10 holes in the bottom, the solution isn't necessarily to find a bigger hose. Fix the damn bucket that's leaking with all the holes in it. That's the battle. But so many dentists refuse to see the battle for what it is. Because revenue can hide in a lot of places. A practice can look successful from the outside while being inefficient, overstaffed, underpriced, insurance dependent, and exhausting to operate. And because money is coming through the door, nobody stops long enough to ask the most important question. Is this actually working? No. Can I survive doing this? Not, is this how everyone else does it, so I should do it too? They don't say, can I squeeze another patient into Thursday? Question is this business producing the outcome I actually want? Because that's the standard. You built a business. The business is supposed to serve a purpose. And if you're never defining what that purpose is, then dentistry and the industry is going to define it for you, which is typically see more patients, grind more, take more insurance, and suck it up. More patients, more production, more employees, more dentistry, more busy. And eventually you wake up with a very successful looking practice that owns you. That's not winning. So here's today's daily battle. I want you to stop asking, how busy am I? And to ask, what is all this activity actually producing? Is it getting me where I want to be in this life? Now look at your business. Look at your schedule. Look at your overhead. Look at your profit. Look at your time, which is the most important thing you have on this planet. Look at what you personally take home. And most importantly, look at whether the business you've actually created is moving you toward the life you said you wanted. Because activity is not success. Production is not profit. And busy is not winning. The first step towards building something better is having the honesty to see what you've actually built and being honest that it's probably not what you want, but you just tolerate it out of fear and comfort. That's today's battle. And if you're ready to start challenging the rules, the assumptions, and the business model you've been handed in dentistry, that's exactly what we're going after in the War Plan. The War Plan is August 25 and 26. It's a Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a free webinar. You can learn more at legiondentist.com/warplan. And for today, stop celebrating being busy. Start measuring winning. One battle, one lesson, win the day. And that's what we do here. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you in the War Plan.